You are listening to ZeitCast Podcast. ZeitCast Podcast.
All right,
First
so
topic.
first topic. We're gonna be talking about schooling, like the whole system of it.
Schooling.
What our thoughts are, I guess.
Does COVID, like schooling itself, count like as part of the topic?
Yeah. Just anything. I mean,
Yeah, so how do you guys feel about the current amount of hours?
The current amount of hours. I think the current amount of hours has worked for a long time. It just seems to work well. It's balanced in a way that gets us out of school at an early age.
Yeah.
Not necessarily early age, but it just works. You know
I have to disagree with that to a degree.
Okay.
I would say that kids need more time with their family and with
True,
their friends than what they're able to get right as of now.
That's very true. I feel like I've learned a lot more stuff out of my school life than I have in school.
Because
Yeah.
that's one thing. Kids don't spend as much time with their family as they used to.
Yeah, and it's bad for
True.
your social relationship with people. That's very true.
Yeah, I agree with that. And of course, I am biased because obviously we're all students. We don't like homework. But
yeah.
genuinely, homework, if we had more time just to learn and just a little bit of homework, we would probably not necessarily retain more information, but it would be better on us. It'd be less stressful, and we can handle it better, and we generally get better test scores.
I think
And
that
again, we wouldn't be as stressed.
I think that all homework should be an in-class thing.
Mhm.
I think it should be more like an assignment.
Yeah.
and you do it at home.
You go to school to learn and do your work. Home should be for learning things at home.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be for learning things that you're supposed to learn at school.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that because I think school should be at school, home should be at home. It's as
Exactly.
simple as
So what do you guys think about school choice? Being able to choose what school you go to, like being able to go out of district. What do you guys
Can we
think
go back
of
to
that?
the last topic real quick?
Oh yeah.
I think that in the next 10 years or so, it's going to show up that kids aren't going to know how to do their taxes and stuff because
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
we don't do any of that stuff anymore.
There's
they
no, like,
they
homework.
prioritize more or less tangible things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like cooking and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's
like,
no home ec anymore. Like, we used to have a whole class that you would learn simple skills
Yeah,
like
we did
that.
it last
Don't
year
anymore.
in the 8th grade, and they don't have it in the high school when we need it the most.
Okay, but yeah. So about
Like
school
senior year
choice.
stuff.
How do you guys feel about school choice?
I think you should be able to choose what school you want to go to.
I mean,
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you should have a choice between the schools that want to accept you or that will accept you. I think
Are we
that's
talking
totally
about
fine.
private school or public school?
Yeah, should you be able to choose between whatever school, like if your child doesn't want to go to a public school, should you be able to choose?
I feel
Yeah.
like yes, because I feel like
I mean-
public schools to a certain extent are more safer.
Well, you mean private schools are more safe?
I mean private schools. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Well,
Fine.
yeah, because they have generally more, if I'm being honest, more wealthy
Yeah.
True.
children, which are often more. It's
Less terrorist acts are performed in
Less-
private
less
schools.
terrorist.
That's true.
Less acts.
less gangbangers.
I don't think has
I
a
mean,
single school shooting occurred in a private school.
Probably, but
Probably.
It's
very
probably
rare.
from an external.
It's probably, but I
Yeah.
guarantee you the
Probably
body
external.
count was not
Um,
nearly as high. Not that that
yeah.
really matters.
I would say that grades should have to do to a certain extent with private school, and less with money.
So,
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about, just like guards or teachers carrying firearms?
I think it's a great idea.
I don't think we need necessarily guards because that is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, that's a lot of money for the state to be
Well,
paying.
it depends. Like if we're in an area in like Chicago, I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
if you're in a high
I think
crime-
just teachers.
Because
Like,
you have fights.
teachers.
You'll even have fights and stuff that break out that can end up becoming
That doesn't
problems.
necessarily need a.
I've heard
Firearm.
If
I've heard teachers say like they don't want to be responsible for that. Like they don't want to carry around a firearm. They don't want to have to shoot somebody if they come in.
Well, they don't have. I think they should be able to. They should be trained with firearms
Yeah.
and have a firearm in their classroom. Not necessarily every
I-
teacher, but the teachers that are trained and have choose to be trained. And
Yeah.
the school has to have a certain amount of trained teachers. I think that would work, if you know what I mean.
It
Like,
could
because-
work. But then say there's no teachers that want to do that. Say there's no teachers that
Well,
want
then
to
we'd
risk their life.
we have to require a teacher to do it or two.
I think it should be
guess.
more of a system where
So
if
that's
a
required.
teacher decides they want to do it, and they have the training, they have the skills, and they've been background checked, they should be able to do it.
I
Once a
think,
year
yeah,
training.
I
I,
think
I, Yeah, go ahead.
I think hiring like ex-military teachers would be a great idea because they have a background knowledge of like basic self-defense and stuff.
Well, yeah, if
and
we want.
critical operations.
But you have to think. So if the teachers were trained, they have to get trained at least once or twice every year just to make sure that their
Yes.
skills are still keen. Like for example, in the state police, they do that twice a year. They just go out to the range with their rifles and pistols, and they just train for a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think aim is a very critical part of it, and so I think they should have to at least target practice once a week, because aim, like if you miss a shot and shoot the wrong student, it's not gonna end well for
Okay,
you. Like,
but
in court.
okay, but I think it's ridiculous that we don't have at least one firearm in a school somewhere, so that in
No.
case of an emergency, someone can respond.
Well,
I
it's very
guess-
important that students don't know
There
where
needs to be
Yeah,
at least one
It needs
somewhere.
to be. It needs to be.
And I'm just
anonymous
playing-
as to
yeah,
where
I'm just
it
playing
is.
a bit of a devil's advocate here. So that brings up another thing. Like, if teachers are carrying these weapons, who's to say students aren't going to try to steal the weapons?
That's
and do
what I was
something?
saying. As long as the students do not
It needs to
have
be-
a clue where it is.
What I'm saying,
But if the teachers are carrying it on them,
it needs
I
to
don't
be
think it should be
holstered.
on them.
It needs to be
Okay,
holstered at all times.
I don't think
okay.
it should be even
even
on
then,
the
holsters can be undone.
It is
Holsters,
unacceptable
you
if
There
that thing
shouldn't-
comes
there
out at
shouldn't be
any
one in
point
the
or is
chamber
touched
either.
at
know,
all.
it is,
No.
but
I mean, a loaded magazine.
but you know
next to
kids
the
are going to
desk.
do
And
it.
it should be
Kids are kids.
concealed. It should
But-
be out of sight, out of mind.
I think that schools for young teenagers feels less like a safe place than it should. Like it should
Yeah.
feel like I feel like students would perform better in school if they felt like it was a safer environment, because like the news just drains you with school shootings and
Yeah.
violences.
does.
But to think
That-
about it.
Especially in urban schools.
Yes.
When do you go to school and feel like someone's going to shoot it up? Like how often? How
I-
often do you think?
I don't really
You don't-
think that in
yeah.
Havana because
Yeah.
You don't think
we
it's
live in
a
a small
small
town, right?
Yeah.
So
Like, but a urbaner school like Springfield
Yes.
or like Peoria, I would fear
Mhm.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Places in
yeah,
high
they get bomb
crime
threats,
areas,
at
like-
least
or-
once a year.
Or like I think that like but yeah, I think someone should carry like some sort of concealed hand
Or
firearm.
just something, like it
It's
doesn't
very
even...
okay. Have any of you guys ever shot like a 9mm?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know
I
that
believe
you
so.
two have, but
Yeah.
like it depends on the gun. But sometimes they're very inaccurate. You can be shooting directly at the target
True,
from
yeah.
like 6-7 feet.
Well, the
and
idea...
it'll miss. But
Listen, in a self-defense fight, you're not even going to be aiming anyway.
Yeah.
You're just
No.
going to draw it, you're just going to
But
shoot
what I'm
at-
saying is, you could be shooting at a student from 10 feet away across a classroom with the entire class behind them, and the chances of you hitting them are actually a lot higher to hit the chances of hitting the class are a lot higher than hitting the student.
Well,
So you need like a rather accurate firearm.
I would say that that it's less about the firearm and more about the ammunition type, because like in my personal experience, the cheaper the bullet, the more thrown off the shot will be.
I would not use 45 ACP because the penetration is too much.
To be
Yes.
fair, have you guys ever seen police training videos where the officer mag dumps a 9mm round, like
But-
entire magazine of 9mm into a person, and they keep charging at him?
But I think that like
That has happened.
There
yeah.
was a case where a female officer who was caught on video. It's a common training video for police officers. She dumped an entire mag into him, and other officers were trying to tase him and stuff at the same time. And he kept charging. And he killed the female
Although
I
these
think-
are most likely children that
True.
are going to be doing
officer. I feel like a
this.
9mm probably would.
like
Yeah,
a
I'm
Hornady critical.
That's that's another moral problem. A teacher would just have such a hard, especially if it's their own student. They like oh my god, I'm shooting.
Well, the thing they're gonna shoot their own
Shooting
students.
you're shooting
same
the
other
equivalent of
students.
almost your child.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
They wouldn't be trying
Someone
to kill
that-
the other students.
Someone that you taught and grew up
Yeah.
and
that's-
like
Yeah, but that's better than
something.
other students dying. Obviously,
think-
it's just a sacrifice that needs to be made. And also, it's not guaranteed that they have actually been at that school for the entire time. They could have
Because
came from another school. And
Rarely,
they've been bullied because nobody knows that.
there's a very rare chance that the police will ever enter the building during a school shooting. Like they will just sit outside and wait for the shooter to surrender.
I feel like
Yeah.
specially trained SWAT
it
teams
depends
will
on the
see out
if there's like a hostage
But-
situation, then they
Yeah.
might. It depends. Like
But like the round would be important. Like I would say like a Hornady critical defense round would be like a really good round, because like so it shoots and the bullet expands, so it never makes an exit, so you don't have like the risk of it exiting and hitting
so it
another
shatters.
person.
I think
Yes.
Okay.
honestly, schools could probably afford premium ammunition because they wouldn't probably.
They're-
It's very likely they won't ever use that
Yeah.
ammunition. You could be sitting there for 100 years, still brand new, and they won't ever need to buy more ammunition for the gun.
So there was my dad actually came up with this idea. You you have like a box, right? Like a strong box. It's locked. You have a gun in there.
Yeah.
And teachers carry around a lanyard, right? And that lanyard
has a like
a button. They see someone suspicious coming in. They're like, oh shit, something's about to go down. So they press the button on the lanyard. It unlocks the strong boxes. Then teachers can go in, type in a really quick code. Then they can pull the gun out, and then they're ready.
I would say almost like a touch ID thing would work too.
Yeah,
because
but I would want not just the lanyard, but I would want a passcode too.
Yeah.
That way, a student couldn't steal the lanyard.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like,
it would have to have two things.
Yes, it would be very difficult then.
That's what I was thinking.
But it would have to be like a.
I think a fingerprint system would be very good, just to verify that is a teacher.
Yeah.
But then fingerprints can have blood on them or something
because
and not work
well, then they can just wipe it off. I mean,
like one of the teachers would be able to get it.
Like the key cards that they use for doors, you can get forged versions of those that work on those doors. I've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about that system, having the lanyard and the strong?
I think there's a better system than a lanyard. I mean, it works, but
it could work.
I think maybe not necessarily an app.
Touch ID or facial recognition would work really well.
You would want something that couldn't be easily accidentally pressed.
Yeah. I was thinking like a button.
You gotta think that the code has to be very short because it can't be.
That could be touched by a student, maybe. I don't know.
But obviously, it would have to be. Let's think fingerprint. That's what I was. Yeah, how I.
Well, yeah, you would have both, I guess.
You want a 4-digit code because the chances of you guessing that right off the bat are very low, but it's still small enough to where they.
I would rather do a fingerprint than a 4-digit code.
A fingerprint with a 4-digit code.
Yeah.
Because you can forge fingerprints. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can do both. Yeah.
But why I'm saying a 4-digit code is because a teacher can put that in really quick, and the chance of a student guessing that, the probability is really low.
Yeah, before they get stopped,
But I think if any student, were to get into that, they should get in, a lot of trouble, because, they're doing, something
they should be literally
dangerous.
expelled from the school if they manage to get inside that box.
Because they're trying to do something, they're
probably sent to juvie. That is literally trying to get access to a firearm in a school building.
Possibly trying to kill people,
there's no other reason that you would try to get in there. What are you going to do? Have a prank? That's the literal dumbest prank in the world.
Or I think that the school needs to have officials with metal detectors when you go in to check student body for stuff.
I think that would be very slow.
I would feel no, but too, that just is demoralizing.
Yeah,
it is.
It shouldn't be like an airport just to go to school.
Well, yeah, and it would be. It would
remind
take
them
so much time.
It would remind the students.
It feels too authoritarian to me. I just. All right. What's our next topic?
All right. Well, since we're on schools already, we can switch to. Okay. Well, do you want to pause the? All right. Later.
All right. See you.
All
right. Later, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
Later, dude.
All right. Later. All right. What's our next topic?
Alright, yeah. Well, since we're on schooling, we can either move to opinions on children getting their hands on vapes and such, or we could go to how schooling affects mental health of children, depression.
Let's do vaping first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, this is going to be a very common theme throughout this conversation. Vaping is bad.
Yeah.
Especially in children. Vaping is bad, okay? We're going to get that across right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be repeating that for 10 minutes.
Yes, Susan Wojcicki, it's vaping's bad. Okay. All right, so, yeah.
It's just dumb. I mean, you just don't get into it. So you have to
we've already found countless studies of popcorn lung being developed, even within really only a month of using it.
And we don't even know all the risks.
It could actually be more harmful than cigarettes.
Because
honestly,
the generation that start vaping has just been born 10 years ago. It's not even. So it's not fully developed yet. Once they begin to die, our generation begins to die off of age. That's the only time that we'll begin to realize truly the full effect of vaping.
And that's one thing that's sad. This generation has a very high chance of living over 100.
Yeah,
because
so that'll be almost 100 years.
Because of the technological advances we're going to go through.
Uh-huh.
And if you're going to screw up your body at such a young age like that, you're just destroying your chances of being able to have a very long life.
Yeah, you have to think people dying now, they're dying with the technology that, being born, they had the medicine from the 70s? No, probably earlier than that, 60s, 70s. So that is 70s technology still working today.
Yeah.
This is, we have, like, the generation that's been using 1990s, early 2000 technology, it's not even begun to die off.
They think that the first 150-year-old has probably already been born.
Yeah.
Dang.
The first person that will live to 150.
That's crazy to think about,
truly
that
know.
someone could live, like, among us, could live to 150 years. That's crazy to think about.
That is so crazy. I mean, not many mammals on Earth can live to 150.
No.
I mean, we would have never expected to live to 150.
I don't think any
in the
mammals.
1800s.
No, there are.
There are?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not many.
There are tortoises that can. There,
Not mammals.
Whales. There are some whales.
There
that
are
can.
sea creatures that can live to like.
Or
close to
not.
that.
Well, a tortoise is a reptile, but.
Yeah.
And then there are some whales. Whales are mammals.
Whales, yeah.
Yeah, there are some whales that can.
Like on the land living
Well,
animals.
Primates typically don't live.
Yeah,
which
no.
we're a primate. Primates don't live
Yeah.
typically near as long as we
And
do.
it's so weird to think that it's not evolution that's done this. It's evolution amongst ourselves that we have artificially created. That is so unbelievable.
Yeah, we're past the point of evolution because because even the weak survive now.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm. True.
Because of our collective efforts.
So, that I've thought about that before. That
Evolution
That's a
is
bad
slowing down.
Yeah.
that is a bad
Because
thing.
we get both bad and good traits going on, being passed on because of that.
So it's more likely that more bad traits are going to survive. So, because there's more bad traits that are developed and then versus good traits.
Well, how evolution works is
And then
we have
bad traits get cut off.
over a population,
Mhm.
right? We have good and bad traits. And the ones that have traits that allow them to reproduce at a higher rate,
Yeah.
those are the ones
Passed
that their
on.
traits are passed on.
Mhm.
Whether those traits are good or not, generally, it just as long as it helps them reproduce more, then they'll get passed on.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, there's like, maybe a person with like autism or some sort of mental disorder, like, maybe
That might not get
couple
passed on as
hundred-
much, though,
yeah,
because
exactly.
someone that has autism
Now-
probably doesn't reproduce as much.
Yeah,
On
probably
this
not.
topic, this is a really weird thing that I think about. But someone who is fat and ugly, no offense to anyone listening to this, but they are more likely to like someone else who is fat and ugly. And as we go on, it is more likely that people who are, quote unquote, fat and ugly are going to date more people. It's going to be more like that. Because, so if more people, there's more people in the world that are probably, fat and ugly, quote unquote, than normal
We
people.
went from
or
vaping
people
to
who are-
this.
Yeah, we went from
Oh, but,
vaping to fat.
but
and
actually,
That's really fucking
I
weird.
heard a hypothesis, right? That ugly people often are more attracted to very, very attractive people, and then that is an evolutionary advantage that basically makes it so that they don't actually end up ever reproducing and passing on their bad genes.
Yeah.
Because they'll never be able
Dang.
to find a mate because attractive people
That's
won't like them.
so screwed up, though. Like they're forced to like people that they'll never be able.
That's
to
just a
like.
hypothesis. We don't know if that's
I
true.
kind of regret calling them
That's-
fat and ugly now, honestly. I feel like that was a
Yeah.
bad decision.
Take it back.
Well,
I
some
should
people
probably
are.
have said
It's
it
just
unprepared.
it's just how it is.
fact,
You know? But yeah, back onto the topic, mental health in schools.
Yeah.
Right.
That we just got off topic. Really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a problem. It really is. And suicide rates are higher than
Yeah.
they've been in a long time.
And the thing is that the people who say they're going to kill themselves rarely ever kill themselves. And it's
No,
the
but
people
you
who
need-
don't
we-
say that kill themselves.
we
when
have
they
to take people seriously though,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do, but like, then
It's a
again, trying
serious
to grab
topic.
attention like that, it's morally wrong. But then again, they're not at fault because they don't know any other way to get attention like that. We just need to teach them the ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't really teach ways like that. It's kind of learn it for themselves. But obviously, it's just doing that is bad. The best way to take care of that problem is to have people handle it good and well.
I feel that we need to focus more on rather than solving our problems with substance abuse. I think people need to we need to focus on our mental health institutions, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I think that drug addiction, methamphetamine, heroin,
Yeah.
things like that, cocaine, they should not be criminal offenses. They should be labeled as mental disorders.
Yeah, I mean.
Because substance abuse is a mental disorder.
It is.
But
Why
then
should
again-
why should we give someone a criminal offense for doing something that's just hurting them and their family? Because Well, it's not because it's not a violent crime to do drugs, right? It's more
unless you're one of the people like bringing in drugs from other
yeah.
places.
I'm not talking about dealers.
Yeah,
I'm talking about people that are
talking about people
because
who are addicted.
those people are victims of dealers, in my opinion, and they're victims of drug abuse and of addiction. So I feel that we should decriminalize that. Anyone that is in jail for doing drugs should be taken out, and we should give them the mental help that they need.
Instead of putting them in jail, put them in rehab.
There are people that are in jail for smoking weed. There are people that are still in jail in some states.
And smoking weed isn't even that bad. Like, it genuinely...
It was banned for racist reasons.
Yeah.
Like, the FDA was looking for more drugs to ban to, make more profits. And at the time, people were racist against,
because black and Hispanic people did it at a higher rate.
They smoked weed, so it was like, hey...
it's not racist, it's just a fact.
Yeah. It's like, hey, here's people that Americans don't like at the time. Let's pin this thing that's basically harmless to most people.
A lot of our criminal system is based, and I don't really believe in systemic racism, but if there are instances of it, that is where it's at. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Systemic racism is just a form of propaganda, and we probably shouldn't go into this now. We could probably come back to it later.
Another topic.
Okay. While we're on drugs, we could go to marijuana. How do we feel about it? Should it be?
Oh yeah.
Kind of going in there. That's
like I already said my opinion. Fully legalize it. And I don't think it's really one that's abused at all.
I think we should regulate it in teens and stuff, though. Not necessarily make it illegal, just regulate it, because it is a bad...
The way I see it, if you allow your child to use it so much that it becomes problematic, then that should be counted as child
I just think we
neglect.
should regulate it so that they don't continue to do it so much that it becomes a financial...
continue.
It just becomes a financial problem for them in the future, and it doesn't block their, make it harder for them to get educated.
But you can say the same thing about like cigarettes, though. Like children at 18.
Well, yeah, cigarettes should
that is
straight
and that is addictive, and that will cause problems for their whole life. So so I completely agree with that. It should be regulated at that age. Yeah. But once you're an adult, though, you make your own decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
use your own money.
Now, how do you guys feel about making it illegal to smoke if you have children in the house?
I don't think that's...
Smoking cigarettes, that makes sense because you can still get lung defects.
Think about it. A child can't choose to live there or not. They have to live there.
No, but,
it's a hard subject. It really is.
But you can't stop people from, like, smoking in their own homes. I mean, people already do that with cigarettes, and then there's children that get really sick off of secondhand smoking, whereas... And
I feel very bad for that child.
Yeah, it feels bad for those children, but there's nothing you can really do. At least, with marijuana, I feel it's more like, I don't know. It's less like, hey, I'm going to have a cigarette right now. It's more like it's secluded sort of thing.
Well, and it's not as common.
Yeah,
you're not doing it all the time.
Exactly.
You're not doing it all the time.
Yeah. So I feel like the children could be more shielded from marijuana than they could, say, smoking or nicotine use.
You could make the argument, too, that at a young age, lots of marijuana use can lead to brain developmental problems.
Yeah. That's,
it could at young ages, yes.
Yeah.
But then we're also saying that, young children probably won't have their hands on much marijuana unless their parents are doing it, and even then, like, my dad, he does it medically. He has tons of it in the house. Like, I don't do it. I mean, I'm not.
He needs it though with his
with his disease. Yes. It helps him a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah.
And that I remember there was like an assembly talking about drugs and marijuana, and oh my god,
so bad.
And you like stood up, and I was really proud of you for that. That was really you stood up and like that helped my dad, and that was
because I just don't want people to get the wrong idea about it. It's like this drug, sure, it's a drug. It's can be labeled as bad, but that's in like children. Like I don't want children growing up thinking this is a terrible substance. I should never do this. Like it can help you if you have a serious like disorder, disease. It can seriously help your life.
Yeah.
Like, it's meant to be used.
In the videos that they showed, they didn't use points that were actually logical and have facts. They were just using, oh, well, you think it's natural? Oh, this is natural. And they showed a picture of cow dung.
Yeah.
Or cow pigment. Like,
you shouldn't
that doesn't-
smoke cow poop. Like,
That doesn't make any
of
sense.
course you shouldn't smoke cow dung.
They're
like,
not even related. They
It's
should have
not-
used things like, for example, it's a bad financially and it can make you poor. But,
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily addictive. And they actually taught us that it was addictive.
it's not.
It is not addictive.
It's
not.
It's one of the
And
substances
it's not.
that
It's
is
not a gateway drug either.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
they
not.
should belittle people who do it. Maybe people who get like so.
Now, what do you guys think about
Well, actually, shouldn't
ayahuasca and DMT? How do you guys feel about that?
really.
I don't really know.
Like hallucinogens.
Oh,
hallucinogens. I don't know much on the
me neither.
subject.
I'm not very well informed.
Oh God, if you want to, do you guys want to get in that rabbit
Not
hole?
in the door. No,
Oh,
not
jeez.
the Clockwork Elves.
Clockwork Elves.
Let's not even go.
Do you know
there.
about Clockwork
Oh
Elves?
yes, let's not even go there. Let's,
Oh, God.
Have
you
stay
ever heard of
far
Clock-
away from that?
Do you know about? Yeah, let's
Oh,
stay away
God.
from
Well,
Clockwork.
you talked about it when we were at Rems.
Clockwork
I heard
Elves.
about something.
Yeah,
I
I was
remember
talking about Clockwork
Yeah,
Elves. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not even go.
Anyway,
there. Let's stay
Yeah,
far
if
away
you
from
you
that.
listen to Joe Rogan,
Joe
Alex
Rogan.
Jones podcast, if you want to hear about Clockwork Elves.
Yeah, we're not gonna put the link in the description, but it's still fun to say. Anyway.
Okay, do you want to do something fun or go into more political topics?